Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this meta video. My name's Dr. Dan, and we'll be going through the meta. I've got a bit of man flu at the moment, so apologies, but I might be a bit spluttery. It's just coming on, you know what I mean? Where you get like you feel a little build up, and you feel under the weather and a bit. Bleh. I had rugby training last night, which the ground's really hard, so my ankles are. So I've got all my excuses in early. Right, let's have a look at individual rankings. Phil Cole still top, with King Pash, who managed to who managed to win a tournament over the weekend. The one over in, I think it was over in Element Games. Sorry, I just went in another tab because I was going to look something up and then I immediately forget what I wanted to look up. Yeah, so anyway, let's have a look at the meta, see who's top, and see how much of a problem Cathay is turning out to be. So if we have a look at the faction stats, this is oldworldrankings.com. Go over there, give Gommo some money if you've got any spare. It's a fantastic resource. It pulls in data from pretty much everywhere. Which is great. 1,000 completed tournaments. Right, so that's from core launch to today. So from core launch to today, Cathay is a bit of a problem, but there's only been 65 events. So what this means is, what can we say? We can say that the Cathay, the early data appears to make Cathay an issue, but there isn't enough evidence yet to say that it is definitely an issue, although it looks pretty close. Wild Herd still doing really well, but again, not many appearances, and at the bottom, Skaven, Talzin, all the sort of Lizardmen are a bit unexpected. But I've been speaking with a few Lizardman players, and oh yeah, that's what I wanted to look up. I wanted to. Somebody told me to look at a tournament that I forgot to look at, or maybe I didn't forget to look at. I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't. The results weren't on there. Anyway, we'll have a look. We'll have a look when we go through some of the lists. But yeah, you've still got Exiles and Tomb Kings and Mortuary Cult. Cracer up then as well now in terms of performing slightly outside of normal. So there's a good handful of factions at the top, but then if we go from, so that's from the start, so that includes all the data. Whereas if we go from the last errata, then FAQ and errata version 5.1, then actually Cathay aren't that bad. Crace seems to be a bit, but again, 13 events. It's just this kind of data analysis in terms of averages and standard deviations. This is all called what we call parametric data, because it relies on an assumption of a parabolic curve or a bell curve. So it relies on an assumption that the sort of if you were to plot everybody's results, most of the population would be in the middle. And that data really only works when you've got a significant amount. Not a significant. When you've got a decent amount of data. Significant, I didn't mean that in that context. So, and I've said this before, you need about sort of 30 to 40 results. I really should look the numbers up before next time. But you should, you got 30 or 40 results, I think, gives you a 15% error margin, something like that. And then once you get to 600 or so, pardon me, then you go down to 500 or so. Then you go down to about a 5% error margin. But still, we're way off that 5% error margin in terms of what's going on here. So again, Crace winning a few events recently. It's neither here nor there. Skaven and Dark Elves, Lizardmen. Wood Elves being down there is a bit surprising, actually. Wood Elves were quite competitive last summer, this summer they've been pretty much killed off by I think Games Workshop's Arcane Journal. I think it did absolutely nothing for them. Like, there's just nothing in there that's any good. Like, none of it makes them any even slightly better in any sense, which is really weird. So, yeah, that's what's happening. Tournament appearances. This is still since the 1.5 errata. Warriors of Chaos still the most popular faction. Dwarves very popular. Bretonnia very popular. Tukis up there. Oh, Grand Cathay have now overtaken quite a lot of the legacy factions. Still not quite up there with Wood Elves. Have not done vampire counts yet. So that's interesting. Vampire counts rely on like old or 3D printed. I guess not always old, because my vampire count list's made out of Soulblight stuff. So yeah, which I think that the Soulblight stuff works quite well in fantasy. In fact, I've got a dude here. Is he broken? He is broken. They're always broken. But yeah, I don't think they look too bad. That kind of Jason and the Argonaut style, really cool. I think it actually fits the setting slightly better than the old vampire count stuff does. But pardon me. So that's the state of the meta at the moment. Nuln, Cathay. Now, you know, these two are very canon heavy. There's a button. There we go. Click that button and let's see if we can pardon me. Oh dear. Yeah, Expeditionary Force are doing okay. That's a bit interesting. So Nuln and Cathay, you know, I guess the other difference is if you look at Nuln, the variation of results is a lot less. So actually you could say that Nuln is probably, arguably, slightly more problematic at the moment. Or potentially more problematic, because it's reliably overpowered, if you see what I mean. In that the bottom end of Nuln is, you know, way above that kind of bottom end of average results. So essentially, it's a normal Nuln player will never be below average, if that makes sense. Whereas here, Cathay, there is this sort of, you see this little dotted line there. That's the overall population normal range. And this is Cathay's normal range, so you can see that Cathay's normal range does actually take it below the negative there. So it is normal for a Grand Cathay player to be a bad Warhammerist. Bad, unlucky, whatever. Not doing very well at the moment, that kind of thing. Same with Walls of the Sea. There's a huge amount of variation, but again, that comes from very few events, because typically as you get more and more events, that band narrows. It's the ones with not a lot of results that in quite a narrow band that are quite interesting, like Talzin. Yeah, I don't expect that to stay there very long. I am surprised the Minotaur Blood Herd's not doing better. I think that's quite strong. But definitely the Wild Herd is you know, I called that when I looked at the Arcane Journal. I thought that's quite powerful. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I really want to say about that, really. A Knightly Order, well, there's been 2 events and both players have lost loads. Of course they have. It's terrible. Like, it's possibly the worst empire. In fact, it's possibly, I think, the Knightly Orders is possibly the worst sub-faction. Like, it's just bizarre how yeah, it's just really bizarre how like they just, I don't know how they managed to cock that up, but rules wise, it's just not very good. Right, let's have a look at the results. Right, Australia. What didn't I look at? Was it? Oh, I need to find this comment now. Apologies, sorry chaps and chapettes. I need to find this comment because I need to look at this tournament that I missed from a few weeks ago that I can't remember where it was. Was it New Zealand? Oh God. New replies to your responses. I don't. Donkey Kong. Bit bummed. Donkey Kong, New Zealand. Right, cool. So then, at JRC Macmillan. JRC Macmillan. Here we go. Let's have a look at Donkey Kong. Oh. What? Oh. Where is it? Well, I mean, if it's not... I don't know where to find it, I'm afraid. Actually, this is... I know it says no upcoming, but it means recent result. Oh, I think it does. Maybe it's just broken for New Zealand. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be... What was it on? Here's it. A bit bummed you didn't look at the top list as a great event. Donkey Kong in New Zealand, and we used 28 scoring and placing. And this TO didn't use a spreadsheet or even an app, so I didn't have many win, loss, draw results. Only mine and Corey's. I mean, I don't know where you inputted it. I'm sorry. Can I? What about like this was? Oh, hold on. How do you use? Oh, okay. That's just a quick navigation bar, right? A bit confusing it being there. Donkey? Donk? No. I don't know. I don't know. Corey something? No, I'm not going to find it, I don't think. Yeah, sorry, dude. If you let me know where it where it is, I'll definitely take a look. But I've tried. I just can't find it. Excuse me. Right. Oh dear. 2+ and in response 4. I don't know what that's a reference to. What are the dates last weekend? 23, 24. Yes, so this one. This one from Australia. 23, 22, 23. Vampire Counts winning 1,000 point. Three round casual. A bit of old world charm. Congrats to James, Tamara and Philip. Skaven coming in third is nice. Would have been nice to see the list. But yeah, Paddy, this 2+ and in response 4. 13 people turned up. That's not terrible. Heralds of Darkness coming bottom there, which is that's interesting. Paddy won it with Wood Elves, which is quite fascinating. Oh, you just click that and it does a thing, does it? He's got Orion. Okay. Glade Lord with a dragon aspect to the boar. Arm of Meteoric Iron. Is that the... Huh. What does that do then? Where's a Woody's list? Here we go. Let's see what that does. So he's got a Glade Lord with the boar, which is... I forget what that is. Oh, where are they? Is that not a new... This video is going really well, isn't it? You can tell it's going really well because I'm already whinging about how well it's going. I've got man flu, it's fine. Is that an old... I wish it'd tell you what version you've done it with. It's not in here. I think I might... Do you know what? Sod this. I'll just make a new one. Wood Elf Realms. Boop, boop, boop. Right, so we've got a Glade Lord. And, yeah, Forest Bites and Kindreds are down there. What did he say? Boar. So, aspect of the boar is AP and impact hits 1. AP goes up by 1 on a charge. It's pretty good, considering we're on the Forest Dragon. The Annoyance of Netlings is -1 in a challenge or something. The Charmed Shield... let's just check the Netlings thing. -1 to hit in a challenge, yep. And then he's got Armour of Meteor... that's the 5-1 that can't be changed then, yeah. I get those stuck in my head between Meteoric Iron and Silvered Steel. because one of them, Silver Steel's 3+, can't be bettered, and the other one is basically a 5-up invulnerable because it can't be modified, which is pretty cool. And then Charmed Shield and Crown of Antlers. So the Charmed Shield is it is a 5 at ward save, single use. Sorry, that is my wife. She is mad and ran off giggling. Right, anyway, 5 at ward save, single use, which is fine, I guess. I don't know why you do that, though, because you've got a suit of armour that can't be improved. So you're just basically spending some points just to give yourself a one-off 5 at war. I mean, I guess if you've got 5 points spare, it's not that much of a waste, is it? But and then he's got the Crown of Antlers, which is there. Which is... oh, interesting. D3 more impact hits, Armour Bane 1... and they impact hits at AP 2, so it gives him more impact hits. So he's gone. So he's got 1 impact hit from the aspect of the ball, which will be his. Oh, it's great. Got a great weapon, so that's decent. So that'll be at strength 6. No AP. Sorry, I desperately need tea. And then he's got that weird save. That doesn't do anything against Monster Slayer, by the way. So, I don't know whether I like that. Then we've got some Glade Riders, some Wild Riders, Sisters, War Dancers. Yeah, yeah, that's a crazy list. That is a crazy list. I don't know... Well, I mean, well done to Paddy, because he's obviously a good player. Because I don't think that doesn't feel like a very optimised list. But I guess, of course, he didn't play the Exiles player, and maybe the result would have been different. But well done, Paddy, David, and Michael, and everybody actually. But well done those 3 in particular for taking the podiums there. And I'm sure lots of fun was had by all. So that's Australia. Not a lot in Australia. Presumably nothing in... Bloody hell. Really? That was last weekend. It was. Something happened in Belgium. Well, something old worldy happened in Belgium. Fratres lupus. What's tree? Tree? Vien? Do? Hold on. What language is that? Am I doing Lithuanian? I think I might be. Trees. Right. What is Latin for 3? I forgot my Latin numbers. Stupid. Right, anyway. Doesn't really matter, does it? We've got a Crace winning. We've got Royal Hosts. The Royal Hosts I really like. I think they will be better in future. I think once people start to figure them out and start to take them, I think, this is... I wouldn't say invest too heavily in it, but if you are already a Khemri player, just try getting Cetra and just see how you go, because I think they're pretty cool. I think he works quite well, especially in his infantry heavy meta. He's got some things to say about it. There's no Cetra here though. He's gone for 3 Tomb Kings, all on chariots. That's cool. All with something that does something interesting. So you got Conqueror's Blade, which is quite high strength, quite high AP, good. So this is a combat one. He's then got the Language of the Priest on this one, which means this one does resurrection stuff. And he's got a Biting Blade, which is quite useful, and the Armour of Destiny, which is a 4 at ward or something. So I'm presuming this one's the general, and that's kind of like the anchor, which the force revolves around. Then you got Tomb King on chariot with a Flail of Skulls, warding splint. So again, this is quite output DPS, and then a bit of resurrection here. Resurrection and protection. He's then got 2 units of skeleton chariots, and then he's got one with the Razor standard, one with the Mirage. He's upgrading everything, so like this is quite interesting. So everything's getting a bit of a bump, despite not being a very big unit. So it's sort of quite inefficient from a points perspective. However, from a tabletop perspective, you've got 3 big blocks of chariots, all with a cool character in, right? You've then got some chariot runners, which are really, really useful for like making sure you get at least 1 decent charge off. So with 2 units of them and 3 units of, you know, chariot skelly boys, he's going to get a couple of decent charges off, and that's going to get him the win, basically. And then he's got some ambushes, skeleton skirmishers lying in ambush, and that's quite clever as well. Excuse me. Because they can essentially hunt down like lone characters and war machines and stuff. And actually, because of the arrows of Asaf, they always hit on 5s. So single lone characters, it's not a problem for them to hit. So 12 means 4 hits. Strength 3 if it's a wizard, probably strength 3 or 4. So you might cause like a wound or 2 every turn with 1 unit. So it's not bad. It's not bad. That's a pretty decent Nekar and Royal Host list, actually. I mean, I prefer mine, which is Cetra, but mine's my lists are always high risk. That's my problem. I like going big. Go big or go home. And then Mortuary Cults, pretty standard Mortuary Cult list. And then Krace, you got a dragon, some woodsmen. Yeah, this looks like a pretty standard Kracian list where there's no white lines of Krace. Well done, G-Dub. Yeah, anyway, but well done, Laurent, Lorenz, and Olivier. Lorenz. Oh, it's Belgium, so it is, yeah. Laurent, Lorenz, and Olivier. How do I say? I forgot what congratulations is. Anyway. Right, let's have a look at results in Canada. Might need some French here as well. So we've got Andrew Chisar. Take it with Royal Hosts again. Shane Hale coming second with Ogre Kingdoms, and Clifton Sahota here with Lizardman coming in now. Two draws. 2 draws gets you 3rd place. So let's have a look at this. So, it's 1,500 points, so I'm not going to look at the lists. But anyway, well done to those guys for getting the podium. Then we've had Capital City Bloodbath 2025, CCBB 2025, Warhammer the Old World, CCBB 2025. Don't know why I like that. CCBB. It's just try saying it yourself. CCBB. It's quite nice. It's quite a nice thing to say. CCBB. Anyway, this was enough of that. This is a grand tournament that took place in Canada. Congrats to Adam, Kevin, and Cleary Mooney. 6-game tournament. Exciting. And 27 people going. So that's pretty good. Oh, look at that, Tomb Kings. Look at that, 4 points in it. Nice. So Cleary, let's have a look. We've got High Priest, level 3, blah, 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 3 Necrotects. Interesting. So we've got some big blocks of... No. We've got some Tomb Guard in a block. Did the Necrotect all go in? Oh, thank you. Just been given a coffee as well. I now have coffee and tea. I have coffee tea. It's all right. What was I doing? Oh yeah, Tomb King, General, Ogre Blade, Charm Shield. So it looks like can you take multiple Royal Heralds? I've never even considered that. Why would you want to do that though? That's the BSB and it's on foot and it's got Destroyer of Eternities. What is this list? What is it doing? hold on. So you got a high priest with the flying carpet, right? So that makes an allure familiar elementalism. So basically, there's a spell in elementalism that he wants. They've got 3 necrotechs, but their ability doesn't stack, does it? Eternal Taskmaster. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's hilarious. Well done, Cleary. He might have spotted something. Because I'm pretty sure that the online rules index is verbatim from the rule book. I do have the rule book and the FAQ, but I can't be asked to spend 5 minutes looking it up. But basically, I think he spotted something, because it's Eternal Taskmaster stacks. So you get extra attacks +1 and hatred. So hypothetically, if there's no errata somewhere else, and if this is how he plays it, we've potentially got a Royal Herald to allow him to re-roll those leadership checks. So you end up with a big block of Tomb Guard with basically 3 additional attacks. So they'd have like 4 base, I think. More so, you've got the necrotechs themselves, who are no slouches. You can give them a whip, which means they get strikes first. Yeah, and the whip has, fighting extra rank and strike first. But still, that's 15 attacks hitting first. With no AP still, but it's pretty decent. If that's what he's doing. And then he's got the icon of the Sacred Eye on the oh poop. +1 weapon skill. Okay, so you got the Necrotechs up to weapon skill 4, Tomb Guard up to weapon skill 5, and then you'll have a Tomb King in there with an Ogre Blade and maybe +3 attacks. So I think that's it. It's a Death Star, is it? And then you've got some Horse Archers, a couple of Necrosphinx. Yeah, I think it's pretty much a Death Star, isn't it? You've got this big, horrible unit that nobody ever wants to charge, but you kind of have to. The High Priest is going to hide behind it and use the flying carpet to kind of nip around and get out of the way and, just hide behind the unit, basically. And the flying carpet is like fly 9 or 10 or 11 or something like that. So it will be enough move to literally hop over. And they're drilled. So, they get tons of cool stuff. And they got Magic Res 1 as well. So, yeah. That's a Death Star. Right. With a couple of Necrosphinxes who are horrible. Great list. Great result. Well done, Cleary. Kevin, with his Chaos Dwarves, has taken Black Orcs. Not leaning too heavy. He just wants that character. Again, I think that's the best character in the game for like points and what it does. Because like 340 points for something that's toughness 6, got 8, 9 wounds, something like that. Has a 4 up armor save, 5 up ward, 5 up regen. No, has a 3 up armor save, doesn't it? Because Trollhide Trousers give you +1 to your save. So he starts with full plate. He goes up to 3 up because of Trollhide Trousers. So you've essentially got 3 up, 5 up, 5 up, which is the maximum save, nearly the maximum save that you can get on any character. And he's got a great weapon, so he's hitting with like 4 or 5 attacks at strength 7, AP 2, which is nasty. And then, of course, he's on a Wyvern that sort of more or less just gives him fly, doesn't it? So I just saw a bit of egg yolk on that mug, so I had eggs for breakfast, so I'm now worried that I've got egg all in my beard. Then we've got some Infernal Sternosharos with some great Tauruses. Yeah, it's just actually, these are all really good characters. Like, just really tough, difficult to deal with, and can dish out a bit of damage, but they don't really need to. Moving the Tarok into rare has meant that he's taken them now. And, you know, I think that was really good for Chaos Dwarves, popping them in rare. Because you'd never take them as characters, but actually as, like, sort of monsters, they're not terrible. Like, as a kind of an equivalent to, like, a Shaggoth, for instance, they're alright. If you think of them that way, they then become pretty competitive. And he spotted it and got them. And a shitload of Hobgoblins. No Chaos Dwarves, though. There's... technically, there's only 2 Chaos Dwarves in a Chaos Dwarf army. You know, that is the Renegade pack. That is what he's put when I did my review of the Renegade pack video elsewhere. I didn't like that. I still like to have the tax, but although, you know, it's tricky really when looking at stuff like the Renegade pack, because it's like, you know, Val said in his introduction he didn't want to try and do a balance. He just wanted to make those factions easier to play with and just make the rules make a bit more sense. And he has done that. He's achieved that. But the problem is you kind of want to start writing sub-factions for them. I mean, I really do. Like, I need to do another video to... Chelu1314 said or suggested, sorry, to try and essentially use ChatGPT to identify an algorithm through which GW might, you know, assign points to things, so then we could sort of use that to do our own, which I think would be quite cool. It's a cool concept. I've been playing around with it. Not sure I'm happy with where we're going at the moment, but we're getting there. But anyway, well done, Kevin. Kevin. Is it Kevin or Kevin? I don't know. Kevin. Mr. Morin. Well done to Mr. Morin. And Adam Purdy. Very good player. Managed to win with Beastman Brayherds. Traditional Beastman Brayherds. So we've got a very traditional Beastman Brayherd list with a Primal Warherd actually in. Primal Warherds, I think, are just... I think they're borderline broken. Because basically what you have is you have a mixed unit of Gauls and Ungauls, right? And what the Ungauls allow you to do is essentially take a load of chaff within your Gaul unit. So your Gauls do the fighting and the Ungauls do the dying, right? So Gauls do killing, Ungauls do dying. So that basically means that you can have a unit of, you know, because if you think before the Primal Warherd, if you wanted to get 14 Gauls into combat, you needed to take another 14 to make sure they survived the shooting and got there and were effective when they got there. And the other 14 would cost way more than 21 Ungauls. So it's basically... The Primal Warherd is basically just a complicated way of giving a points discount to Gauls, right? And it's really, really super effective. It's a very, very good unit. And the amount of value you get out of that Cacophonous Dirge, Vitriolic Totem, you know, all of these things... really enhance that unit, and it's still coming in at under 300 points. Whereas you think you want that number of... So you want 35 wounds in an infantry unit that's pretty elite, strength 4, loads of attacks, toughness 4, you know, in combat. It's just a bit kind of... For 300 points, that's very good. That's very good for 300 points. Bit too good. And then we've got the Herdstone. I love faction terrain. I think it's great. I love that about Age of Sigmar. Faction terrain was like my favourite bit. So yeah. Really happy that they've got the Herdstone back. And then got a couple of chariots. So this is a really good, solid, classic Beastman list with the insertion of the Primal Warherd. So well done, Adam, for taking that one out. Oh, nice. He's been putting the top lists up. That's good. That's good. Okie dokie. So that was Canada. Oh no. There's another one. There's another GT. How exciting. It wasn't Canada. We have Geekfest Summer Heat the Old World at Fenris Workshop, apparently. So, hold on, what am I doing? What am I doing? So we've got one list that you don't see very often, and another couple of don't know. I always have my Wednesday morning off to do this. Well, not always. I try to. So we've got a Warriors of Chaos list. We've got Demon Prince, Tzeentch, Brave of the Gods, Biting Blade, Law Familiar, Demonology. Presumably he wants to pump something up the table with... There we are. So we've got some Chosen Chaos Warriors. Mark of Slanesh. Halberds. And shields. Why not great weapons? Why halberds? Strength 5, AP 1. I mean, I guess they get Armor Bane 1 on the charge, but are you really going to get the charge off that often? I'd be really interested to know how that went, actually. He's got some speed here. And you can punt those Chosen across the table. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not sure that's as optimal as it could be. But well done, Carl. I mean, coming third in any size tournament is challenging. Todd has taken Sugar Zaddy, a Gatekeeper, BSB, another Gatekeeper. Don't do that. Well, I mean, do that. We need somebody to bring Cathay down. Just you need to be rubbish with playing them at the same time as taking a suboptimal list. But we've got another couple of Gatekeepers. A couple of... Oh, I see. So he's basically using them as like super champions in the Jade Lancers. I'd imagine. I don't know, but I'd imagine that's what's going on. And then he's got a couple of cannons, a Sentinel and a Lantern. I mean, it's not an overly broken list. It's a pretty balanced Cathay list, so well done for that. But still, Cathay are a bit of an issue. And then we've got Jordan McCarthy with a Troll Herd. He's got the Troll Hag. Ogdruts and a War Boss. And then some Troll Mobs, of course. Some Wolf Riders. Yeah. I mean, it's a Troll Horde. I mean, they're quite difficult to play with, actually. So, well done for getting just even 3 or 4 wins with them, because they're not the most manoeuvrable, they're not the quickest, they're quite difficult to use. Stupidity's a pain in the arse. That's a bloody good effort. So well done, Jordan. Absolutely sterling effort for taking the Vom boys out there. China, nothing. Good. Sorry, it's just I really want the Cathay thing to backfire a little bit. Like, I really want them to just get no audience over there. And then they'll be like, oh, well, what is that? Because Creative Assembly did Cathay. And it's like, because theirs is a computer game that anybody can play. This is a physical thing where you need to turn up to a venue, right? So, like, wake up, open some venues. Like, start some gaming centres all over the place, and then people will come and play it and buy the shit. But no, they won't do that, will they? But, yeah, anyway. GW's business model. That's another talk for another day, really. Actually, the half-yearly results were out, weren't they? And I didn't talk about them this year. I did last year, but that video last year got about four watches. So I thought this year I probably won't. When was this? 2 weeks ago. So nothing in Denmark. Press of Battle took place in Helsinki. And 26 people turned up for a one-dayer. Juha Tuominen, sorry, Ossi Heinonen and Maxim Tuovinen took out the top 3 spot with Vampire Counts, a couple of Vampire Counts, and a Kingdom of Bretonia. Maxim's Vampire Count list is standard and boring, but well done. Aussie's list is, yeah, pretty much the same. Although it's got a black coach in, which is quite interesting, and some hex wraiths. I like this as a combo. That's quite interesting. And you are, I don't know. Somebody please tell me how to pronounce that, because he'll win something else at some point. Yes, he's gone for Elise Ducar. Good lad. And then, yeah, just standard Bretonia stuff, really. Yeah, pretty decent list. And Elise Ducar, who presumably goes in this Knights of the Realm and buffs them up. And because her spells are remains in play, people forget to get rid of them. Because if you do them in the first turn, and then a few turns in, people have forgotten about the remains in play spells. So you get to keep them. So, well, you know, unless people notice, of course. But you're under no obligation whatever to remind people. Nothing en France. Nothing auf Deutschland. Nothing all'Italia. Don't know that in Japanese. Here we go. 23rd of August. That was last weekend. City State of Nuln. Remy van Toyn managed to win that. Boris Devis took second with Grand Cathay, and Arvid de Costa with Vampire Counts. So let's have a look at these lists. Remy took General Hans von Leeuwenhoek, who has... So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops, and then +1 for that as well. So probably +2 to go first. Pretty cool. Battlefield here is for Orcs Drift. The eponymous Rorke's Drift. Any of you who were playing this in the 90s will almost certainly remember a White Dwarf where they got the Praetorian Guard and they did a Rorke's Drift version, but with orcs instead. Best battle report I've ever read. Absolutely brilliant. That's in the days where you had like a magazine which called a White Dwarf, where they had like battle reports in, and you know, the internet wasn't really a thing. I mean, it was, but you could just message people really and download porn very slowly, like, you know, line by line as it rendered in. Not that I ever did that, because I was always a very well-behaved young chap. Anyway, of course I did. Right. Yeah, Griffin Standard gives it doubles their rank bonus. So now they've got Horde. They can have a rank bonus of 3. So that unit's basically got a combat res of 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8 before it starts. So yeah, good luck getting through that. And then you got Boris with his Grand Cathalis, Lord Magistrate, Scar Lantern, Sugar Zaddy, Illusion, I don't know, stop charges or something. Some Lancers, only 9, interesting. Some 19 Warriors. 3 ground cannons. When it says 2, it doesn't mean there's 2 ground cannons. That's just 1. I don't know why it says 2. Is it because there's 2 crew members, something like that? And then you've got some Sky Lanterns again. So 3 balloons and 3 cannons. So this is all the broken stuff, all at the same time, all at once. Well done, Boris. Great list. Absolute nightmare to play against. But somebody managed to beat him, which is interesting. And Arvid, who I think has featured in these things before, took a pretty standard army list. Oh no, I'm not going on the recruit. Right. That was the Netherlands. And then we've got New Zealand, Norwegia, which actually isn't Norwegian for Norway, is it? That's German. I don't know what Norwegian for Norway is. What is Norwegian for Norway? Norge. Oh, in different places it's called different things. Norge or Nordic? Okay. Norge. 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 Interesting. There's a term that comes up exclusively in rugby, and I'd love to know the etymology of it, if anybody does know, which is it's a nose, which is like it's an absolute nose, a total pain in the arse. Nose. I don't even know how it's spelt, how it's supposed to be spelt. You literally only ever hear people, you will only hear this word if you have ever played rugby, but it comes up in rugby, and that's the only kind of subculture of Britain where I've heard this phrase used. It probably comes up other places as well. I mean, just because, you know, I haven't observed all conversations in the United Kingdom. But, like, it just seems to be a rugby thing. So if anybody knows what it means, please do let me know. Because I'm dying to know. And I've tried looking at Etim online and stuff like that, and it just doesn't really feature in that context. It's very weird. Right, in Spain, we've had... Oh, my goodness. Quite a few tournaments over the last weekend. We've had this in Valencia. That one in August. That one is a... oh, there's no soy Roberto. No soy. Soy... Does that mean friend? I can't remember what soy means. Anyway, but there's no results there. But anyway, well done to those three for taking out the top. There's no lists here, so I don't even know why I clicked on it. But well done, Messrs. Rossi, Carno, and Monleon for taking out that one. 2 Vampire Count wins there. Vampire Count still top here. You know, Hordy. Hordy? Doesn't feel right. I think I should be doing something with the D. Is it Hordy? Something like that? I don't know. Garcia, well done there. Manuel, Torraz. Oh no, it's Garcia is a C. You pronounce the C's and you the S's, don't you? I'm going to stop trying to do it with a Spanish inflection because my Spanish is terrible. Anyway, Manel, Torres, Marty, and Sergio Munoz. Congratulations. Dwarven Mountain Holds coming third is pretty good. So well done. Well done, Sergio. You've got Burlock, you've got a Thane, you've got some Warriors, Rangers, Thunderers, a couple of Gyrocopters, a couple of Organ Guns, a couple of Doom Seekers. One of them has been upgraded to the 9s. I think that the Doom Seekers are really good at protecting cannons. So popping a couple of Doom Seekers like around the cannons to stop ambushes from being able to just waltz over your cannons is beautiful. And then he's got a couple of... I mean, this is a solid dwarf list. Nothing stands out as being amazing or broken. It's just a solid dwarf list, and obviously he's quite good with it. So well done, Sergio. You then got Beastmen, who have opted not to take the Primal Warherd, which is... Can you take the Primal Warherd in a standard? I thought it was just the Wild Herd only, actually, but or is it? Oh, hold on. I need a new one, don't I? Probably. I need probably a new one. Yeah, let's get rid of that. And get rid of that. Right, and then Boosh. Beastmen, Brayherds, Grand Army, blah blah blah. Core. No, there's no Primal Warherd. Oh, cool. So you can't take it in a standard. Yeah, no, you can't. No, you can't. So that other list must have been Wild Herd, but it was down as Beastmen, Brayherds. I thought that was a bit weird, but I don't like to question. Well. I do. I don't like to question everything. I don't like to be picky. No, I do. Right. Pretty standard Beastman list. You've got a horrible Doom Bull with all nasty things coming out of everywhere. You've got a couple of Gore Herds for them to go in, which is quite nice with the new infantry buff. It's nice to see. That you got a couple of Razor Gores for doing a few impact hits and just sneaking through and targeting characters and war machines and crap. Then we've got some Dragon Ogres and a couple of Nurgly spawn. Yeah, a couple of Nurgly spawn because they're really good for their points. Anyway, I mean, no, they're not really good. They're good for their points in that they're relatively cheap. So yeah, cool. I like that one. I like that, pretty standard. And then we've got Horde with a pretty skeleton warriors are unusual. You traditionally see zombies, but skellies are fine. You know, 2 big units of 50, one with +1 combat res, one with a 5 at ward, and then he's got 5 hex wraiths and a terrorgeist. So, you know, a fairly straightforward vampire count list with the traditional, you know, complement of heroes. Actually, no, not the traditional. He's got a couple of white lords for some reason. I don't know why they're there. Normally, you take white lords as heroes just because you want Tomb Guard or Black Knights in your core, so they allow you to take one. So that's interesting, but yeah, interesting. Well done for the 3 wins as well. It's difficult winning one game sometimes. So then we in Sweden we had Anders Olberg winning with Wild Herd, Alice Augustsson with Wolves of the Sea, and Daniel Olsen with Empire of Man. Sorry, the Alice Augustsson is throwing me a little bit because I'm like, well, Alice is a lady's name and son means son of, but like, is it like, because in I don't know why that's thrown me. For some reason, I'm like, because like, of course, you can have like, you know, Katie Jackson, for instance. That's a perfectly standard, straightforward British name, but or naming convention. It's just the son thing. It's just like, yeah. There's just some part of my brain that's at the back that's just gone, geek. Hold on, that's not, that cog's not, wait, why on it? And the rest of my brain is going, why are you being such an idiot? Like, that's what's wrong with that? And this is what I don't like it. Not that I don't like it. That's the wrong. No, not that. Like, there's something. Yeah. It's almost like I think the problem that I have with particularly like Scandinavian names is it kind of all feels a bit like Viking-y and a bit like I'm playing a computer game and I'm trying to figure out the name from a character in a computer game, and like just the something son thing at the end is just like son of, and therefore, you know, I don't know. Brains are weird. Right, so Anders, well done for coming first with this. Looks pretty standard. He's gone for. It's actually he's gone for the Primal Warhood, of course, because that's great. And he's gone for quite a few chariots and stuff. A few more chariots than usual. He's gone fairly sort of impact hit, like counterpunch heavy, and then he's got some Dragon Ogres over there. I mean, it's pretty fair to say that all Beastmen lists look more or less the same. Like, nobody's going Monster Mash with Beastmen. You know, nobody's going... Although Anders has gone real chariot heavy there, so that's really interesting. Alice has gone for Wolves of the Sea, so we've got a Lord on a Manticore. A Nurgly Lord on a Manticore with an Ogre Blade. Nice. A Nurgly Lord on a Dragon with some upgrades. We've then got plenty more orders. Interesting list. Interesting list. I don't know how I feel about that. It doesn't seem to do anything particularly well. I mean, he's got the... So she's got, the Chaos Warriors with the champion with the Luckstone and the Charm Shield, you know, to basically try and... or increase the chances of winning that challenge to, you know, essentially more or less guarantee the first turn. It's pretty cool. but I don't really know where the damage is coming from. Because these are all undivided. So, yeah, flails are going to have a bit of an impact to do a little bit of damage. But, you know, they're not corn. They're not going to rip through things. So, it actually feels like a bit of a weird chip damage sort of army, really. And a couple of flying heroes is cool. But no wizards either. Very odd, very odd list. But obviously very good. Or at least she's been successful with it, which is, you know, the main thing. And then, oh, they've even got a couple of Cathay. Bjorn has a couple of strategists, Lord Magistrate. Oh my God, has he got 5? He's got 5 balloons. You animal, Bjorn. How horrible. And he lost a game. Well, I think Kismet. And Daniel... all jokes. Daniel... good name. Took an Empire of Man. Just a standard Empire of Man list. There's nothing remarkable in that at all. And I mean that in a good way, because like there's nothing that strikes me. So obviously he's just taken an average list and done really well with it. So well done, Dan. Well done, Dan. Right, so that's Sweden. Oh, this cold is really getting on top of me now. Nothing in Switzerland. UK save the best to last, obviously. Oh dear. Oh dear. Test with blue. Owl, the old world. I think that event should maybe be deleted. I don't know. Because it looks like it might be a test. Soft score test. That looks like it was a test. So then we have the owl, which they've taken. There's been loads of owls. Garrett Sorensen won this one with Ogre Kingdoms. There's no lists. Leo came second with the Warriors of Chaos. Andrew Campbell came third with the Mortuary Cult. Would have been really interested to see the Ogre list, actually. But hey ho. Congrats to those three. There also seems to be some other tournaments where there's no rankings. The Utah Cup took place. Maybe? I don't know. It's supposed to be 5 rounds. There's no results in there. Got STL Old World Rumble. STL Standard Life. Oh. No lists here, but well done to Dalston, Hyunkyu and Tony for taking that one out. Tony especially for doing it with Wood Elves. Dalston actually as well for doing it with the traditional High Elves. Well, and also coming second, you know, even if you got a broken list, you've still got to play it. And everybody in the podium, you expect to have a broken list, right? It's remarkable when people don't, and they're on a podium. And then we've got another green dice took place. Brian Johnson, Brent Baker, and Michelle Kistler. I think. Apologies at any stage if I've butchered anybody's name. I try, but you know. Well done to those three. And again, another tournament where we've got no lists. Howard, Jonah and Connor coming first, second and third with Dwarves, High Elves and Empire. That would have been interesting to have a look at, to be honest. Because, yeah, and then everything here is the previous week. But congrats to all those guys. And in fact, anybody who turns up and plays in a tournament. It's a bit of effort, so well done. Right. Then, incursion events, the Old World singles. We've got this event, which was won by Jonathan, Stephen and George filling out the rest of the podium. Old World in Flames, Brian Murphy managed to win that, so congrats to Brian. No lists, so I can't look at those. Kevin and David coming second and third with Dark Elves and Empire Man respectively. I'd love to know what's in Kevin's list. We've got Waiting for Cathay, which Matthew Willits won, but Albert and Ian coming second and third respectively, both with Tomb Kings. And then we've got Toy Soldier the Resurrection, a fairly large event, 5-game tournament at Element Games. And Pash won it with first time I think he's taken Exiles. I think he also said he's never played with that army before. So didn't prep at all and ended up winning it, which that's quite some achievement. That is quite some achievement. Then everything's for the previous week. So I'm going to end up with Toy Soldier the Resurrection because I think it's the most interesting. So incursion events, the Old World singles took place somewhere in England, where at the moment, just in case anybody's interested, we're all falling out with each other over the flag again. Because, because it started when, because it's the women's rugby, and it started with people flying the St George Cross because England women's rugby is pretty dominant. Like, it's the best international ladies team for rugby on the planet by quite some way, and we're doing and then the ladies are doing fantastic job. Rugby's looking pretty decent. It's a really good time to be English from a rugby perspective, because actually our blokes national team is getting to be not absolutely terrible, which is lovely. We might actually win things. So it's a really, so people have been a bit patriotic and putting St George's Cross on things, particularly roundabouts, because our roundabouts are normally painted white, so they've been putting red crosses on, and pelican crossings and stuff like that, which I think is all like harmless fun really. But some people get obsessed about it and upset because nationalists have used the national symbol, and just to make it clear my position on this, I think every symbol of every nation has been used by some nationalist at some point or another. It's a national symbol. Like, of course it's been used by those sorts of people, because what else are they going to use? They're not going to make something up, are they? Like, it's such a stupid thing to fall out about, but whatever. Like, let's just enjoy the rugby because it's really good. Anyway, I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole, but I'm easily distracted. Right, Jonathan Mason Wolf with Empire winning this particular tournament. Oh no, I don't do that because we get a light box, don't we? If that's what this is still called. It's probably called something else now. The Altdorf Company of Honour. Oh, has he named it? Oh, no, he hasn't. Oh, well. So we've got General Hans von Leeuwenhoek again. A captain of the Empire with a BSB and war banner. A wizard. Some engineers. Quite a lot of engineers. 3 of them. And he's gone for quite a lot of artillery. That's not surprising. Oh no, it is Nuln. It is Nuln. Yeah, I thought that was standard Empire. It is Nuln. Yeah, I don't know why it's coming up as Empire. Maybe that should say City State of Nuln then. Then we've got Stephen Green with Exiles. Baron. Typical, pretty typical. Yep. Yeah, nothing. That's interesting. So I think the rebalance to infantry has maybe convinced him to do this instead of like knights and stuff. Then obviously some Pegasus Knights because they're great still, despite the fact they've been nerfed like 3 or 4 times over successive errata. They're still like possibly the best unit in the game. And then a couple of Bombards who are, I think, still the best cannon in the game. But whatever. But the Cathayan, Oh, on Cathay, I did a bit of reading yesterday. About this sort of gunpowder thing, because although it was invented in, it's really interesting actually if you've like a student of military history, because although in China gunpowder was invented over there, when it came across to Europe, we really refined it into a resource that could be used to knock down walls. Whereas essentially in China, the way that they did fort construction is that they did massive earthworks with the walls, with ditches and stuff at the top. They didn't really favour walled cities like we did. They didn't really do castles. Then and the thing is, like, cannons are rubbish against big earthworks because they just hit it and either sink in and do nothing or bounce off. Whereas against walls, that kind of concussive force could rattle it and shake it and get it to. So actually, in terms of like, if you want to be sort of quasi-historical with the accuracy, definitely Empire and Dwarves would have better gunpowder because the forts and fortifications that were used led development down a particular route, which was to essentially be more explosive and therefore impart more of an impulse to the cannonball or to the projectile, sorry, so that there was when the projectile was stopped by something, ideally a wall, whereas actually Eastern gunpowder tended to, they didn't have to do that because essentially what you were aiming for was stone throwers was still quite catapults were still used fairly late because essentially what they were trying to do was knock the battlements off and destroy the stuff at the top of the wall, destroy the crenellations and all the rest. Whereas we didn't. Where in Europe actually we developed cannons that could knock down walls and create actual breaches, whereas you can't create a breach in a massive sandbank. It's it's not in a massive bank. It's not possible. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. George Getaroth. Okay, third without count. A couple of nasty necromancers. Yeah, pretty standard. Although he's gone for Graveguard, so it's quite a small-ish list. I mean, I know these zombies will expand in size quite quickly, but still, cool. Waiting for Cathay, Matthew Willits. That's funny. Oh, Jack, well done. Look at that. Skaven coming in 6th. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let's see what he's done. He's got Grace here, Plague Priest. He's gone for the Nurgly rats. The smelly rats. The smellier rats. Chieftain, Warlord, Clan Rats, Storm Vermin, Plague Monks. Just 4 big blocks. I mean, as a warp graded. I mean, and the Fellblade on a wall. I mean, I do like that as a combo because for 200 points, that can just rip through anything. Like the Fellblade is so nasty. Yeah, but I so wish you could take it on a Skaven, like a Master Assassin or something. Like, it would just... Because that's who it was... In fact, this is in my list. I've got it. Except I've given him heavy armour. But yeah, so you get 4 attacks. And let me show you what the Fellblade does. It's wonderful. Although I'm probably a bit overexcited because it's Skaven. I always get excited by anything Skaven. So it bumps his strength up to strength 7. You get absolutely no saves whatsoever. And it's multiple wounds, dig 3. Oh, it's brilliant. Sorry. Just makes me so happy. So, like, yeah, 4 attacks. Oh, you need a luck stone on it, don't you? You need a luck stone just so that it absolutely definitely kills whatever. I need to make 5 points from somewhere. Take away... Oh, stop it. Get back to your thing. Right. Cool list, though. I like that. Because it's interesting. It's interesting. There's something different about it, right? So Ian Payton came 3rd with some Tom Kings. With Shekherd B99855B802 F8 all that apparently. I don't know what that is. Right, so we've got some High Priests. 3 High Priests. 2 level 3s. And a 4. Oh god. Oh, and a Mortuary Priest. That's a BSB, so lots of magic that you can re-roll and get bonuses to because it doesn't say it's Mortuary Cult, does it? It just says Tomb Kings. Yeah, it's got to be Mortuary Cult, hasn't it? 2 Scorpios, and Casket of Souls, Screaming Skull, Catapult. Yeah, I mean, these are... I wouldn't bother with these. I took 2 to a tournament once. They were absolutely awful. You know, an all-tournament. I literally did their job and just targeted... Apart from one time where I had to target a Terrorgeist, like, every game I was targeting big units of infantry and they barely ever hit. Like, stone throwers and mortars are just too inaccurate at the moment. They just don't do anything. Really, really disappointing. But anyway, well done, Ian, for coming third. Andrew came second with armor rate. This is more standard. That's it. There we go. Yeah. Fairly standard, just solid Tomb King list. Not mortuary cult, so that's nice to see. And Matthew Willits managed to win it with a Sugar Zaddy, who's made level 4, which you don't see very often, actually. Level 4 is not worth that much anymore. But actually, weirdly, with Cathay it probably is worth it, because there's loads of ways of giving yourself like extra signature spells. So I say loads. There's one way of giving yourself 3 signature spells in addition, so you can end up with like 7 spells. So making that particular wizard like a level 4 is worth it, because you've got enough that you're probably going to use them all. Then he's got a Lord Magistrate with a Crystal of Conlan, Alchemist's Mask. Like, these are horrible things to go on a Sky Lantern. I think it's going to get even worse with the new one, with the new book, because there's some really more horrible stuff to go on a Sky Lantern. It's ridiculous. It's got a Strategist on a Sky and another one, so he's got 3 of them. Again, please, when TOs, please, when we're doing like restrictions, can we make it that it's the native part that's the restriction? So for instance, in my metric, this list wouldn't be legal because you've got 3 Sky Lanterns, 2 as mounts and 1 in rare. So you're limited to 2, so you're just going to have to pick 2. Like, whether it's mount or whatever, I think that should be the unit restriction. And actually, I think that would help Cathay a little bit. I know some people would be really annoyed with that, because they've already bought like loads of them, and they are cool models. You know, I have to give you that. They are cool models, and they're a really good example of like taking something that's like thematic to a faction, and then using fantasy and whimsy to create something bonkers. But you know, that's where we are. Although it was the French who performed the first manned hot air balloon flight. I'm pretty sure it was a couple of blokes near Paris, actually. But hey, cool. So, Toy Soldier: The Resurrection. Is this really? This is the last one. This is the last one I'm going to look at. I quite enjoyed recording this today. 1 hour 15. So, Pasha. Kornienko managed to win it with Exiles. 2 draws. 22 points. I wonder what scoring system. I have watched bits of his video. Pash, I'm sorry if you're listening, if you're still listening. I did skim listen it. I'm afraid I don't have enough time to listen to. But I do try and skim through, so it makes it look like you've got loads of playtime on it. And I'm a Prime Premium member, so, you know, whatever. So, anyway, he's got 22, so 3 of them scoring 20... What points system did they use, then? 22, 302. They must have used GW's one, mustn't they? I think. Hold on. Bum bum ba da ba dum bum 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 ba da ba bum 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 ba da ba bum bum. Yes, they've used the GW. They've used the GW system, which, as you can see, results in almost no granularity. So I think I don't know what they've done for secondaries. Victory points, presumably. Tournament points. Yes, that's what they've done. They've used victory points and tournament points. But, I mean, to be fair, I think, this is probably the fairest way of doing it. Because you don't want to just use victory points. Because, you want to use... Anyway, that's another conversation for another day. Mark Muslek with Vampire Counts. And he's got a reasonably standard... Again, the Graveguard are an interesting inclusion. That's kind of 50-50 whether you see them or not. But, yeah, pretty decent. The Drakenhof banner is an auto-include, from what I can tell. It always features somewhere. And then we've got Keith Wilkinson again with Vampire Counts. Again, oh my god, are they the same list? Oh, this is freaky. I think they might have the same list. Hold on. We've got Keith, Mark. Right. Have they got... Oh no, there are some slight differences here. So, Mark, with his Battle Standard Bearer, has decided to go for just the Helm of Commandment, whereas Keith has decided to give his Battle Standard Bearer an additional hand weapon and a shield. The Graveguard are the same. The zombies are slightly different in terms of number. Like, they are almost identical lists. And there's the Vampire Count net list. Graveguard. Oh, a coffee sharp. Yeah, that's really interesting. So the Vampire Count list came second and third, but Keith and Mark managing to actually do the job with them. Again, you've still got to turn up and play the games, regardless of how good your list is. So Sam and Jack Toll were sort of top players, and still are actually in the sort of the overall rankings. I think Jack's the lad and Sam's the dad, so it's nice to see that's that way around. If that's the case. Or is it Stephen Toll? Hold on, is there another Toll? There's another Toll. Oh my god, they're multiplying. we just in a few weeks' time it'll just be the Toll tournament. It'll just be all the Tolls. And then Pasha. Let's have a look at his list. Who managed to win? Sorry. Oh, jeez. So, that fucking Green Knight is Pash. I mean, people say ban it. I don't get it. I don't think it's that bad. I just think you just got to be smart. Like, Baron Lafufu, which I think is... Oh, it's Baron Frou-Frou, isn't it? Is the Blackadder one. I don't know where the Lafufu comes from. Pretty standard. Knightly Templar. Frontier Axe. Bit of extra save. Royal Peg. Nice. We've then got Exiles is going for. Yeah. Then we've got Dave, the Outcast Wizard, who's got the Prayer Archon of Canel. And then we've got Big Rob, the Paladin, with the Banner of Shannon, which is can't stand and shoot against it. And then 5 sexy Mountain Knights to the realm with the Exile's Vow, presumably for tax purposes. Dirty Bowman, Filthy Bowman, Frenchy Bowman, and YOLO, Yeoman Guard, with the standard stuff. Grail Monk and Blessed Triptych. I'd be really interested to see how much UC actually got out of that, because like every time I've played against a Bretonnia player, I've just killed it. Like, you challenge the champion and then you just use all your units' attacks to get rid of that, and that stops them being stubborn. And then once they're not stubborn and they've lost the champion, They just run away, basically. 6 peg knights with the errantry banner. Forget what the errantry banner does. Hold on. I think that's important. Errantry banner does give you +1 when you charge, but impetuous. Yeah, +1 strength. So that's to the Pegasi as well, isn't it, of course? So that's pretty cool. And this unit is broken, bombard. This unit is also broken, bombard. The bombard is not broken, right? I will defend that too. It's a very, very, very good cannon. It might be a little cheap, but it's not broken because, like, let's do a side-by-side. Let's do a quick cannon off. I need an Empire list. Just to show you the difference between Empire of Man. Oh, poop. Oh, I've blown it. I've blown it. But it's definitely not broken because where the bloody hell are the cannons? There we go. So for 25 points more, you get a great cannon which does the same amount of damage. Where's the bloody weapon? There we go. Same amount of damage. So I need to hold on a sec. Let's do a side by side. Boosh and boosh. I saw Britannia there. There we go. And then oh no, it's not going to be in there. It's got to be in Exiles, hasn't it? What the bloody hell? Honestly, I need to. Now we've got folders. I need to sort all my lists. This is a bit silly. I should just have the rules index really just up and going, but whatever. Now I want Exiles, Boosh, Rare, Boosh. Right, so, oh, for God's sakes. So, Bombard. Here we go. So, actually, let's go back and have a look at. Sorry, I'm faffing around a bit. So if we have a look at the sort of the standard profile, the Bombard has a bit more toughness, right? The Bombard crew have light armor. The Empire ones don't for some reason. You can give the Great Cannon the veteran rule, which is of limited use really, but it does allow you to re-roll leadership tests. So it does mean that if somebody charges your cannon with a terror-causing unit, you know, you can re-roll that, which means that your crew don't run off. And then this has levies, which means that people aren't affected by them dying. So on the face of it, they look pretty similar. I think the Great Cannon is actually toughness 7, but I think this might be a null list. So with null, you can drop the toughness by 1, but then you can. Do you get reserve move, or you can move and shoot with War Machine, something like that. It's called something like light carriages or something like that. Okay, so here's the Grand Cannon weapon, right? So the Great Cannon has strength 10 instead of strength 8, so 2 extra strength. The special rules are exactly the same. The AP is the same. The range is 12 better. 48 is pretty much the entire table, but not quite. So you have to be reasonably smart with where you put your Bombard. Your Great Cannon is strength 10. Does that functionally make any difference? Like how much? What does it make a difference to? Well, it makes a difference to anything that's strength 7 or higher. Pardon me. Toughness 7 or higher, sorry. And there aren't really that many things that are toughness 7 or higher. War Machines, Great Cannons are slightly more reliable in that they are, you know, a 2 up to wound instead of a 3 up. Like, I don't know. And I think the now the Bombard does have cannon fire, so it does get grape shot because grape shot is tied to cannon fire. The misfire table, however, is like way better. So 1, they both blow up. 2 to 3, 2 to 4 on the black powder. One of the crew dies, and it can't shoot this turn or next. So that's pretty bad, right? And that's the majority of results. This one, malfunction. One crew dies, but the model fails to shoot this turn. So it's not this turn and the next, it's just this turn, so that's better. Your 4 or 5 fails to shoot, same as a 5 or a 6. But also the bombard has this boom thing, so it shoots this turn as if 2 had been rolled on the artillery dice rather than misfire. However, it can't shoot during the next round. So even when on the can't shoot next round thing, it can still fire this turn. So it's pretty, it's pretty decent. It's pretty reliable. And it's 25 points cheaper for some reason. I'd like to see the Great Cannon being made 110 points and the Bombard being made like 115. The other thing you got to remember is the Great Cannon, you can take 3 of them in a list. Whereas the Bombard, you can only take 2 because they're rare slots. So you can't go heavy on Bombards, whereas you can go a little bit heavier on War Machines in Empire, for instance. So you can't go for a War Machine heavy build with Bretonnia. It's just too nice to have things that aren't overly dominant on an entire tabletop. So I disagree. I don't think they're broken. I think the rare restriction is enough to stop them from being a problem. And I think the restricting rare slots to 2 of the same now, that's a very good move. Very good move. Cool. So that's Pash's list. He's done an entire video on his tournament experience. I'd recommend you go check that out. It's pretty interesting. His last game he had against Cathay. Don't like new recruit. And who was the Cathay player he played? It must have been... What's Cathay's icon look like on this? Oh, it's probably Chris Cousins, isn't it? I bet it's Chris Cousins. I bet he got a draw with him at the death, didn't he? Hold on. Pairings. It's there, isn't it? Round 5. Where the hell is he? It's not here. Match 9, match 10. Oh, for God's sakes. Should I have just clicked on his name? There we go. It was Chris Cousins. Draw. Ooh, 40 in it. Oh no, that and then objective points. So, he very nearly got there, didn't he? Look at that. I don't know what draws were actually, to be honest, but yeah. Although he's in the GW one, so it'll be 300 points now, won't it? So miles off a win. Well, I say miles off. You need to kill another model, basically, but yeah. Yeah, really. Oh, hold on, it tells you the tournament results. Alright, so day 1, he didn't have a massively good day. Day 2, he started it with a bang and then ended up playing some Cathay. So nice. So that's it for this week. This is the last one of August. What's coming up in September? There's another tournament in Belgium. We've got to go one by one, haven't we? Right, I'm just going to have a look in the UK. Got a game of rugby this weekend. Oh, that's annoying. Because that one, I could have, because it's in London, I could have definitely taken the family down. Because they could have found something to do. Facehammer. Oh, I really want to do that, actually. Facehammer GT is always fun. It's a Russ Veals event, so it'll be interesting. So I'd love to get to that one. Saffron Fantasy Slam. That's always a good tournament. This will be their 6th, running on the 6th and 7th of September. Everybody's just going back to school the following week, or has gone back to school the previous week. Violence in Varenka Hills, 6th and 7th September. I don't know where that is. It says it's in England, which is, specific enough. I know. There's only 3 people tightened up, but it's still early days. WN Wimbledon, Wigan. Oh, up north. Oh God, it's a way away from me. Maybe not. Or maybe, I don't know, it's only 3 and a bit hours, isn't it? And I could drop the kid. Anyway, shut up, Dan. Right, so that's what's upcoming in the UK, but Facehammers definitely want to keep an eye on. But if you can get to any of them, get to tournaments like they're loads of fun. And the old world crowd is, I think, the best. Like, I've not encountered any nastiness at any old world events. I mean, granted, I've only been to a handful, but I've not encountered any nastiness at all, which is great. The States is normally quite a big place as well for stuff. There's a few 16. Okay, that's an old world league that's going on right the way through to December. We've got Squarehammer at Nova. Now, Nova, there'll be a few tournaments at Nova, so this will be... They've gone for a 3K limit, so that'll be really... This is definitely one to keep an eye on this weekend if you can. Wow. So they're doing 2 tournaments in a row. So they're doing a 3K tournament, a 1 day... Well, it says over 2 days, 3 rounds. Presumably that's a 1 day, 3K tournament. And then they're doing a 2K, 5 game, 2 day tournament. So Nova's going to be busy. I'd imagine Phil Carl's entered both. Let's see if he can win both. I think... did Luna win both last year? I can't remember. And Badger Baggage Bonanza is taking place in California. Welcome to Estalia. Okay, that's not what it's called there. Loads of stuff going across the States, actually. Loads of interesting things happening over there. Australia, we've got an old world tournament in New South Wales. So lots and lots of stuff happening across various different countries. We've got some tournaments in Germany. I always find the German competitive scene quite interesting. It's very different how they approach it. How they approach the game to us. I really wish we had like Russian results in here, because Russia actually, they approach the game quite differently again as well. So it's always interesting to see what their, what the Russian... And to be honest, I'm not sure how much publishing the Russian players Warhammer tournament results would help the war effort. I don't know how much as not reporting it is hindering it. I guess not a lot, but I get the sentiment. Yeah, you feel like you've got to do something, but there's nothing you can do, sadly, which is depressing. But and then Italy, Japan. Do you know what? There's too many actual issues in the real world at the moment, isn't there? We could do with just like a boring Cold War or something. Everybody could just be terrified about, and the world was simple then. Simple-ish anyway. Yeah, good guys and bad guys, Whereas now everything's complicated. And there's no such thing as... Well, there is, actually, but whatever. I'm getting into philosophy again. I really should keep talking about Warhammer rather than other things. Because that's what the channel's all about. Right. So wind your neck in, Dan, and just talk about this. Okay, sorry. Right. August, we've got some stuff going off this weekend in New Zealand. Dunedin. I so wish I could find that bloody tournament that Mr. McMillan sent me, but I can't. But anyway. Cool. So I hope that's been useful. If you've got any comments, put them down below. Happy to talk to anybody. I think I've answered every single comment, bar one. That Bastard has told me the Jade Banner gives their opponents +2 combat raise. I might do a video where I go through some comments at some point. I might, if that's interesting to you, you know, let me know. I could do a comment video. What else have I got planned? Not a lot really, just more meta stuff. I think that's my forte, so I might as well stick there. For now, I did nearly do a core video because that was a YouTube inspiration thing. So YouTube, they're actually quite good. Like when you go to like your content, there's a little inspiration tab and it gives you a list of like 5 videos that you can do. So one of them is Wood Elf versus Ogre Law Showdown, apparently. Don't get what that is. Unpacking the Old World's unwritten faction stories. How the Tomb Kings really thrive in 2025. I say that's useful. I mean, none of these are... Warhammer Old World, debunking Empire's useless crap status. That's actually not a bad idea, because I don't think Empire are useless. Old World meta, your burning questions answered live. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's very me. Like I've tried some live videos in the past and they didn't really work very well. Right, cool. So that's the video. That's it. I shall wish you a good day. Like and subscribe and all that stuff if you've got to this point. If you don't mind awfully. Well, I mean, I don't want to be pushy, but you know, I mean, if you've really listened to an hour and a half of my insane gibberings, then you know, and haven't yourself succumbed to the whisperings of Zinch, then you probably should subscribe. You should definitely subscribe. Yes, do it now. Anyway, sorry, that was horrible. Right, I'll see you later. Toodaloo.